much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Howdy Broody. Kicking off the week with the Brews at Zen on my left eye. Welcome to stream, everybody. I'm your host Lefty. Hope you're all good this evening. Let's brew this whole thing. Hopefully without as much buffering as there was on yesterday's stream. Okay, yeah, hit thumbs up as you join us, please, people. And it's a stream with a poll. Yeah, there's the, well, one of the main stories today in the UK at least. Ambulances set on fire in London. There's been a big hoo-ha about it. We're going to be going into that on stream. But what are your initial thoughts about what happened? Do you think it could have been a false flag operation, perhaps, to try and get the UK more involved in the Israel-US war? Maybe it is a genuine anti-Semitic attack, as a lot of people in the mainstream are claiming, rather preemptively. Could it possibly be just a random arson attack and just happen to be in that area? And everybody else is trying to seize the opportunity or spin it a different way? Or could it be something else? Please do state your thoughts in the chat if you select that option. So maybe, I don't know, an insurance job or something like that? Because these ambulances in question were about to be decommissioned, by the way. And that will be coming up as we get into the story, amongst other things, on stream. Yeah, we'll go through a few things if you don't want to vote yet, if you've maybe not quite made your minds up. Well, let's see who's in chat. We've got Flunky, Flow Snake, Big Jerry, Graham Turner as well, and Rock Yeah. Very good evening. How do you all brew? Time for the member scroll. Currently teasingly sitting on 199. We dropped one from yesterday, unfortunately. Someone didn't renew. Literally don't know who it was, and I wouldn't name and shame either. But this is the hot off the press latest list. Thank you very much, everybody on the list, and as well as everybody else who's helped to support the channel. Yeah, the usual channels, methods are active or open. On stream, super chats, super stickers, super thanks if you're watching back later on, and the ever-present Buy Me a Coffee page is still in the description of any content on the channel, so check out the link for that, please, people. Oh, I think we have had a freeze on the... Yeah. Bear with people. It might have frozen on your screens as well. Okay. Not going without congratulating all the members. There we go. Sorry about that. Just had to reset the member scroll. A Black Bar, welcome to stream, and Andrew McCallum also joining us. Yes, the ambulance situation does look very dodgy. We will go through that as well as a few other bits and pieces. Starmer's been in front of committee as well. We'll see the response to the ambulance thing as well. And also another Easter, another bunch of pathetic claims coming from the right wing about certain traditions being eradicated, or maybe not. Yeah, we'll see what else we get into as well. Dave Trummer, very warm welcome to you. Solidari-Tea. Yeah, I hope you're all hitting thumbs up as you join us. You don't have to vote in the poll just yet. We are going to get straight into this thing with the ambulances. Which might as well do as a My Left Private Eye investigation, to be honest. Maybe not, actually, because we do need to crack on. I'm going to have a comedy clip. First up, as always. That's a good one. There's something a bit different, actually. From someone who has featured before. Yeah, it's going to be Rothschild, you know, who normally does the excellent JD Vance parodies. But it's not a J.D. Vance one. It's still Rothschilds, though, with a take on the alterations that have been made in the United States when people go to vote. And we've got a slightly similar situation here in the UK as well. Voter ID, this kind of thing. This will be his take on that. Sorry, once again, just got a bit of buffering here. Coming through clear, I think. Now I think about it, there isn't a description for Rothschilds at the moment, if you're watching live, but there will be at the end of the stream. But thoroughly suggest that you subscribe.
Hello there. Have you come to vote?
I sure have. I'm here to engage in my civic duty.
Splendid. Now, we've made some changes to the voting process to ensure maximum election security. Are you okay with that?
I guess.
Wonderful. Do you have your voter registration card?
Yes.
Identification card?
Got it.
Second identification card?
Sure do.
Passport?
This cost me $130.
Organ donor card?
My liver's probably not too great.
AAA card?
Roadside assistance.
AA card?
One day at a time, buddy.
A card?
Happy birthday.
Oh, you remembered.
This all seems like a lot to vote.
It's fine.
It's fine?
It's fine. Social Security card?
Please don't lose this. It is very hard to replace.
Dance card?
You honor me, Lord Bridgerton.
Face card? V card?
You'll have to talk to my high school girlfriend about that. It's right here.
Mouth guard? Scotch guard?
Take one more step and I'll deep fry your bollocks.
Cooking lard?
I'm more of a tallow guy.
Jean-Luc Picard?
They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here, this far, no further.
Chris Gethard?
He's funny in a different way.
The Wizard? Blood sample?
Okay.
Stool sample?
Is all this really necessary?
To prevent voter fraud? Absolutely.
Really?
There have been dozens of cases.
Is that a lot?
Probably. What is your gender?
I mean, it's male, but I don't really see what that has to do with vote.
We have to know.
Birth certificate?
This survived a flood.
Beef certificate?
Crime.
Beef with a rapper?
These are my thoughts on Nicki Minaj's forehead.
Candy wrapper? Candy? $3.52 and change? CVS receipt for the candy? DNA swab?
You got it.
Deck swab?
Oh, it's a pirate's life for me.
Charles Schwab?
Investments.
Charles Dickens?
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Darla's chickens?
Darla ain't getting these back.
Matt? Welcome. Matt? Bat?
But
Cat? Hat? Howdy. Cat in the hat?
thing one and thing two fucked up my entire house.
Beans?
Beans.
Banana?
Banana, banana, banana.
A sinister incantation from the Egyptian Book of the Dead? A loyalty oath signed in blood?
Done.
Wait, loyalty to who? Flonase? Got it right here. Thank you so much. My sinuses have been killing me all day. All right, I think we have everything.
Great. And not a moment too soon.
One last question. What is your favorite of Pete Hegseth's books?
Come again?
What is your favorite of Pete Hegseth's books?
Oh, balls. It's frozen. It's frozen on screen. Quickly resolve this. Sorry for pausing during the comedy clip. Balls. And we've got it back.
Thank you so much. My sinuses have been...
And we've got it back.
Thank you so much. My sinuses have been killing me all day. All right, I think we have everything.
Great. And not a moment too soon.
One last question. What is your favorite of Pete Hegseth's books?
Come again?
What is your favorite of Pete Hegseth's books?
American Crusade?
Interesting. So what you're saying is You like to read. What? Seize him?
Hey, what? Hey, get your hands off me!
Can't put America first if you're too busy reading.
You can't do this!
Thank you for participating in the new and improved democracy. Who's next?
Fuck yeah! Great stuff from Rothschilds. I bet that took a while to put together and edit, maybe. Yeah, anyway, hi to Mossad, as Dave Drummer says in chat. You can try and mess us up with the tech issues. Might find we're a little bit more resilient than you expected. Anyway, yeah, like I said before the clip, we'll put a link to Rothschild's YouTube page in the description of the stream. Go and check him out. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom of Dystopia. What's all this about with this ambulance then? Okay, what's going on? Let's see what's happening, people.
Can you dig it?
I've got a few clips regarding this. Really going to concentrate on the reaction to it as well, which it's safe to say has been nothing short of hyperbolic. Again. Evening, Mossad. Finally, as though it's all good now.
Can you dig it?
Well, first up, let's just take a look at the CCTV. This was all captured on camera. And then we'll get into the why and the by whom and the reaction. So it's pretty straightforward, almost too straightforward. Three lads, I'm assuming gender, admittedly, but let's say three lads approach the front of the ambulance very quickly. You know, they've got solid combustibles or whatever. And that was very quick, almost expertly done, wouldn't you say? Now, the police arrived in 8 minutes, the press were there in 10 minutes, just 2 minutes after the police, and almost immediately this began going around social media, pun intended, like wildfire. We can joke, nobody was injured or killed. These are two or more. Was it 3 or 4 ambulances? However many it was. They were due to be decommissioned, as I said earlier. You can see from this other shot, the 3 supposed culprits do a runner up the street, apparently then to vanish into thin air in central London, which has more CCTV per capita than anywhere else in the world. And you can see they're taking place just after 25 to 2 a.m. this morning, UK time, GMT, good old Greenwich Mean Time, British Standard Time. Let's watch again, because it is, like I said, almost too easy, very efficiently done. But where are these three people? What happened to them? Don't tell me that all of the might of the Met can't catch these three. A couple of issues here again. Looks all well and good again here from our end. So they knew exactly where to go, apparently, what to do. It's claimed that an Iranian group has taken responsibility for this, even though everybody apart from this group that nobody's heard of, which was supposedly formed weeks ago, yes, just weeks ago, is supposed to have done this. Everybody else is saying it, but here are the pertinent points, of course. This happened in a Jewish community, and the knee-jerk reaction from Keir Starmer, amongst others, is to essentially jump the gun and label this as an anti-Semitic attack. Now, this is not a regular London ambulance that we're talking about. This is, if you've been on social media today, I'm sure you will have seen mention of this, the notion of a Jewish ambulance, a private ambulance service. However, it's more like St. John's, the equivalent of St. John's within the Jewish community. And it can be used by all members of the community. But this, now this concept of essentially, as far as Keir Starmer's concerned, apparently emergency service vehicles can practice religion now because, yeah, this doesn't count as an attack on a charity or just ambulances in general. No, it has to be anti-Semitism, according to Keir Starmer, who, if this were a story about any other criminal case, would be likely to say that he couldn't comment during an ongoing investigation, and you'd have to wait until the facts had been gathered and the police had made a statement. But he was overwhelmingly hesitant to forget about that usual protocol where this is concerned, and I wonder why that might be. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, they're thems and comrades alike. So the hyperbole over this has been very cringe, very atypical. There have obviously been accusations thrown around that this could be a false flag attack. If it is, it's certainly a very... I mean, I'll be honest, I was pretty much expecting something to happen in terms of false flags. That is, and if this is it, then it's pretty poor effort. Even by recent false flag standards, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because it's just so bloody obvious. If it is, No injury, no loss of life. The public support for UK letting America make use of our Air Force bases is in free fall. Keir Starmer himself is finding himself increasingly unpopular. As we just see once again these three mysterious people disappear off screen and then into the night and then into the ether. Where are they? Have you seen these? Feel like what's it called? What's the old film? Watchdog. That's. Have you seen these three unidentifiable people in your area? Dark clothing and hoods. That narrows it down. God, have you ever walked through Salford Precinct? Right, let's hear from Starmer directly then, like I said. Oh, of course. I can comment about this one. Don't have to wait until the police investigation comes. Yeah, get the camera set up quickly. Quicker. Faster. Get that motherfucking camera set up because Keith needs to tell the world at the behest of his, lobbyist overlords who the real victims are in the world at the moment. Oh, yes. Is my tie on straight? Right, let's go.
This is a horrific anti-Semitic attack.
First line.
And
First line. First line. I've reached my undeniable conclusion immediately, and the first words out of my mouth. The evidence bags and whatnot were still being sealed up, probably, when he was making this statement as well. As far as I'm aware, way before anything came out from the police, if anything's come out at all. Whilst we've been rendering material for this particular topic, we've not come across anything like that. But just that straight out of the gate, he needs to let the British people know, of course, that this was racially motivated, racially aggravated and directed towards that. He doesn't have any evidence for it, of course, except geographical. For all he knows, it could have been a bunch of fucking smackheads. And I'm not, obviously, belittling addiction or whatever. I do recognise it as a medical thing, of course. But back on track with this, it's highly irresponsible, at the very least, to make these kind of assumptions.
My thoughts, I think all of our thoughts, will be with those in the vicinity, the residents who are understandably very concerned, a Jewish community across the country deeply concerned. I've already been in touch with community leaders this morning and will continue to do so during the day. But
now, we watched the footage. That's a good phrase. Caption that one. But as I was saying, we watched the CCTV footage a few times there, and they didn't spray anything anti-Semitic on the ambulance, on the floor, or anything. There was no messaging, be it symbolic or in prose. There was no political message or messaging of any kind left. If they did shout something, it wasn't heard by anyone apart from themselves, and the CCTV footage doesn't have audio anyway, so if it was their intention to spread the message that they were shouting, then they failed in that endeavour. So the only suggestion is that this happened because it happened within a, air quotes, Jewish community where there's a high population of Jewish citizens. But if you do bother to read your local newspaper, you might often come across stories of church break-ins. Does that mean that there are a wave of anti-Christianity sweeping across the country, and it's a danger and it's a threat to us all? No, it doesn't, and will attacks on Islam and other religions be as widely reported or concerned about by the Prime Minister as this one? Don't think so. Don't think so. We know why Starmer is saying the things that he is, because he's paid to. Paid/blackmailed, pressured, etc. His statements get increasingly pathetic as his complexion gets redder and redder.
Anti-Semitism has no place in our society, and it's really important that we all stand together at a moment like this.
Pathetic from Keith. What are we saying in chat? People, sorry if there's any censoring happening in chat. Again, that's beyond anyone's control. Unfortunately. And it wasn't just Keith. This spread out across the airwaves on LBC. Don't know how much you want to bet that this caller was absolutely genuine in what he said and with his take on the events. But if you buy what he's saying, then I've got a bridge to sell you. As we go through this, apparently, you know, this was this man who's calling in. It's happened quite quickly, actually. He's been so startled by the events of today that he thinks he might have to leave the country. Some might call that a bit dramatic. But yeah, it's almost like it's David Mensa phoning in. Yeah, so it's LBC and Lewis Goodall. Let's see what's happening with this one.
What has happened to my country, where I went to a grammar school, which was a Christian grammar school, where I, as a Jew and a few other Jews in minority, could enjoy the freedom and the education? What has happened to my country, where I went to university up in Scotland and I could enjoy the studies and all that sort of stuff and progress my life and career without once ever experiencing anti-Semitism? I'm 70 years of age now, so I'm talking about a bygone era. I'm talking about an era when people tolerated each other, where people were not imbibed with the alcohol of extremism and radicalism and hatred. I am leaving this country. I am not staying, and I am not going to walk down the street worried and having to have a look over my corner, over my shoulder, in case some crazy anti-Semite wants to hit me on the back of the head.
Well, where to start with that? Now, I call it racism wherever I see it, and I have done my whole life. And if I heard anybody being anti-Semitic, I would put them right the same way as anybody being Islamophobic, or judging people by the colour of the skin, even. And I can tell you, certainly, anything that might be attempted to be dismissed as banter in the workplace, shall we say. For example, those kind of incidents, the vast majority of those, it's always been Islamophobia or things against black and brown people. Certainly the vast, I can say I've barely heard any genuinely anti-Semitic rhetoric myself personally. They say that this is rife on marches and demos, and again, it's the same, because these are peaceful marches and demos that are happening every week. And the cops just went past. Okay. See you next time. What was that? Yes, so this hyperbole that this caller, don't know his name, is on about it. Oh, it's just too much. And he still, and throughout the rest of the call, won't be able to identify or name a single time when he's experienced anti-Semitism, where people have been racist against him personally. This will all be based on what he's read in the mainstream press or whatnot, or what he's seen on his television, which is obviously the hyperbole over this. And I'm not saying that there isn't any, of course, but the way that a lot of people go on, you would literally think that we were in 1930s Central Europe or something like that, because that's what Netanyahu, etc., would like you to think. But that's just not the case. And again, going back to the whole Corbyn thing and the Labour thing and those accusations and the actual stats showing that those that were accused were the least racist, the least anti-Semitic. And you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful, because the false accusations, and certainly Zionism as a concept, is the real anti-Semitism. That's the real danger, the sort of, the boy who cried wolf thing. But yeah, all forms of racism are deplorable. But this guy's talking crap. And he can't name any examples from his own life. He wants people listening to think that he's somehow been hounded out of the country because it's that bad. But he hasn't experienced a single notion or example of it within his lifetime. That's pretty dramatic. That is, if you believe him. I think this is a set-up call or whatever. I mean, you never know these days.
This is the country that I now have to leave because of what I'm seeing. And what happened this morning only emphasises it.
What went wrong in your mind then, Richard? What changed the country from the one that you described being in as a schoolboy and then as a student to now?
And this is where you're going to get a little bit more of a hint that this isn't genuine.
In a word, the demographics. The demographic changes to
we
this
all know
country,
what that means.
Where those
the demographics. Is it the demographics? Is that his way of saying immigration without wanting to say immigration? The demographics.
Demographics don't buy into the culture and the way of life of this country.
Oh yeah, they don't assimilate. They don't assimilate into our culture. Yeah.
And want to change.
That's bollocks. But go on.
Change it. That was the turning point.
So to be direct, there has been an inculcation over the last 20 years, 30 years or so. I don't know what time frame.
I mean, it's just so typical, so fantastical. You could almost script it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it was scripted before this guy called. I'm not accusing LBC. I'm accusing the caller of being disingenuous, by the way. I'm not accusing Lewis Goodall of being, party to this attempted ruse, which I suspect we might be witnessing here. But, oh yeah, oh it's so, and they're all right, and they swarm here, and they're all anti-Semitic. No, I don't buy that. Go fish.
you put on of an extremist position that makes your life harder, more dangerous.
Yeah, good point there as well, Flo. Oh, yeah, people were so tolerant. Did this gentleman say he was 70 years old? Okay, so it was certainly safe for Muslims or brown and black people to walk the streets, 50, 60 years ago, was it, during this nostalgic period that the caller has? No, again, I think that's a bit of a fantasy as well. Yeah, this concept of a bygone era where there were no prejudices whatsoever. There were, and you can speak to your whatever parents, grandparents who might tell stories about their parents. But it's been, yeah. That concept is phony. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Paranoid as well. Yeah, that's another good. I mean, beyond paranoid, I think, as well. Some ambulances went on fire in London. So I'm moving out of the country. My God. Sure, it might have passed through your minds if you live in the UK just how much you actually think you can tolerate before you want to move elsewhere sometimes. But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Makes it almost impossible to live here as a Jew. How about that?
How about that? Well, I'll tell you how about that. Does he give his name at the start? Whatever you're called. Sonny Jim. You're talking absolute bollocks. Again, trying to paint this image that what England now is like it was in Central Europe 80 years ago, 90 years ago. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There's no stats to back that up. He certainly doesn't have any personal testimony to back that up either. I can't say that as an atheist. I can't cite any personal examples myself. But again, the notion that it's not safe to walk the streets and such, or migrants in this case, or demographics, as he put it, are taking over, and all the rest of it. If you'd have given him another 5 minutes, he probably would have banged on about Sadiq Khan and wanting to introduce Sharia law. By the way, there is quite a lot that is still in law that's used today in this country that is derived from Sharia law, and we do take other things from ancient Islamic culture as well, such as the numbers that we use, but that's another matter for another debate. I'm not sure if this caller's aware of that information, but it's not safe to walk the streets thing doesn't wash, does not pass go, does not collect £200 it can go fish, or even better, get in the sea.
Really, you're genuinely serious about leaving?
Oh, I've already, not genuinely, I am leaving. My house is sold, or it's about to be completed. The sale is about to be completed in 4 weeks' time.
4 weeks.
We are leaving this.
What? There must have been a moment, like he slammed the TV remote down or something. That's it. Calls his wife into the living room. Get the kids. I've decided we're moving. Shouldn't this be a family discussion? No, we're moving. What was it that pushed it beyond the pale? He can't tell us, but he's definitely moving because of it. And guess what?
Country.
Guess what?
Where are you going?
Guess where? Where's he going? I'm not gonna. There's like 2 seconds left where he says where he's going. There's over 200 recognised countries in the world. Out of all of them, which country do you think he might be considering moving to? Bearing in mind, he said he's in this country, he's looking over his shoulder all the time, he doesn't feel safe. Doesn't feel safe. Remember that word's very pertinent. Feelings over facts. Well, the statistics say that you're a lot safer than these other demographics. Well, ignore that. Well, I don't feel safe. Looking over my shoulder like a paranoid whatever. Where would he feel safer at this moment in time, given current geopolitics? It's not safe to walk the streets in the United Kingdom, you know? He might be met by some insane anti-Semite, as this man claims. Where's the safest place? Safest houses at the moment. Not just for anyone from the Jewish community, for anyone at all. Anyone at all, could you think? What do you think? Give it a couple more moments. Well, yeah, we might as well get on with it. Odin, he actually is moving to Israel.
We're going to go and live in Israel.
Oh, dude, turn on your television. Oh, well, not the BBC, but you know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look. What's it going to be like when he's the plane is going to be landing up, and if it can land, let's say if Ben Gurion Airport isn't fucking on fire or whatever again, if he's moving to Tel Aviv, but might have to land at Tel Aviv and then go via Tel Aviv Airport, whatever. But yeah, the look on his face is going to be quite something, isn't it? This caller. Look what's going on down there. Quite the celebration they're having. It's like, those aren't fireworks, Mr. Random Caller. No. Those are Iranian-guided ballistic missiles. Well, how can you best put this? Fucking up your ass if you live in Tel Aviv. So probably not the best play, probably not the best tactic. I would advise against if I were him. Honestly, have you ever heard the like? Seriously. Of all the places in the world. Well, he's not quite sold his house yet. That might be the one saving grace for him. But I don't buy anything that was in that call. That was totally disingenuous. Really was. I think Lewis could all try to get it out of him, but it was all, all bollocks. But apparently, there are cases where you can't walk the streets safely. And, well, what can I say? I'm going to have to concede because the far right have implied again and again, not just here in the UK, but in the US, that there are areas of the streets of Britain, London, Birmingham, Manchester, other major cities that are no-go zones. Yeah, no-go zones. Segregated on a racial basis, it seems. We all laugh this off, of course, but apparently they do exist. Just not quite the way that the far right was suggesting. Let's take a look at this clip. Just to pre-warn you, the behaviour you're going to see is absolutely abhorrent from this group of little twats. But this is where the real intimidation is coming from. This was from the scene, or close to the scene, of this ambulance incident earlier today, and a news team from Al Jazeera showed up to document the events, and this is what they were met with. If you can believe that this actually happens in London, because I'm pretty disgusted by it, to be honest. Call him a donkey, they call him a dog.
We feel threatened, we don't feel safe. Now you can go. Go take your briefcase, go take your Al Jazeera equipment and go. No one needs Al Jazeera. No one wants Al Jazeera over here. You don't decide. No one wants your people in the office. So don't attack me. Yeah, but your people, the people you work for. The people you work for. The people you work for. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you work for. I don't know about you, but I know the person go. Al Jazeera should go away. Motives. Go back to Qatar.
You represent an entity that has questionable motives, and by association.
Or you will be moved. No. Don't be violent. امشي من هون يا حمار. I'm calm.
So he's insulting him in Hebrew.
امشي من هون يا حمار يا كلب. يا كلب روح من هون. روح من هون. لا مالو. ما تعوسه. أنا لا خمر. أنت خمر. أنا خمر. I'm walking.
Al Jazeera is not wanted here. Please move on. You're facing fear in the community. Out of here, Al Jazeera.
Do they not believe in a free press?
You don't need Al Jazeera over here. Go!
Al Jazeera off our streets! Go home!
That's not cool, is it? Oh, yeah. There you go.
He wants to go. He knows the reality of the truth. Time to move on.
Almost got 2 minutes without saying October 7th.
So are we committing an offence by being here? Are they committing an offence by harassing us when we're trying to work?
Yeah, that was... you certainly call that harassment. These are members of the press, you know. These aren't just some, you know, dickhead far-right live streamers or whatever. They hold press cards. It's a major news network as well.
You want to go?
They're reporting the news. Okay?
He's not saying that you all have to go home and watch Al Jazeera when it's done. I mean, I find myself in situations when I'm, you know, surrounded by BBC, Sky, a lot of, you know, major networks as well. You don't see me necessarily having to like their networks or what they're about. And I certainly wouldn't like harass a news network if I was on a march or a demo or an action or anything. It's, you know, some of them, depending on the circumstances, I might, you know, verbally make my feelings known about certain things. But this group harassment is a different matter. Where a free press is concerned.
Don't make these guys job harder. At this point here, just want people to move on. If you have an issue, raise it in the appropriate channel. We're doing it here on a day like today.
Yeah.
It's in the right place to do it. We feel threatened Al Jazeera being here.
We feel we feel this, we feel that. Feelings over facts. It's getting quite exhausted, isn't it? At the moment. If that were applied to everything in life, then life would be chaos. There'd be no law and order. It'd be pure anarchy. If you're an anarchist, I guess you're into that. But no, feeling threatened is one thing, but saying that you feel threatened when you're not, that's just pure paranoia, or it's a lie, or whatever it is. But it doesn't have an impact on the truth. And you certainly weren't threatened there. These people just wanted to set the cameras up, and one of them, you know, they've got suitcases or tote bags or whatever full of stuff, and they want to get going and do the job. They weren't there to make any sort of threats towards any members of the community, that's for sure, because they're professionals from a news network. All right, it's ridiculous to say that you feel threatened by their presence.
Al Jazeera being here is threatened. We feel threatened. We don't feel safe. The reporting's going to go to potential terrorists. That's what we don't want.
Just how extraneous is that? They might film here, and some terrorists might watch it. And I mean, come on.
I want to see that on our streets.
No, I understand that.
So,
I understand where you're coming from.
Okay. So for our safety, please remove them from the
Just sort of give over.
How dare you? I can't define my own racism. I can't define my own racism. Don't tell me what's racism against me and what's not. How dare you? Don't tell me what's racism against me. Shame
on you. Not sure what the context of that was, but yeah. Things that Zionists don't like are anti-Semitic, apparently. And yes, I'm differentiating between religion and one that's been appropriated by Zionists when I say that as well, obviously. The same way I know the difference between a religion and a country. No, that was in London. That was close to where the ambulance, whatever it was, false flag attack, random arson attack, or genuine AS attack was at the moment. 41% of you are favouring false flag. Second is random arson, then genuine AS attack, tied with other. If you do vote other, please let us know in the chats what you think it is. I'll try and keep up with the chat, I'll do my best. Square Peg, nice to see you as well. Libiology, also jumping in chat recently. Thanks for the watermelons, Floor Snake. Always appreciated. Viva Viva Palestina. And be a sport and hit the thumbs up when you come in. That'd be a tip top, people. Pip pip. Ugh, felt weird. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was berating the hyperbole over this. Now, whatever it is, it's obviously bad. This is, you know, ambulances on fire, but they were set to be decommissioned, like I said. Streeting made an appearance as well and said that they'd be replaced and all of the rest of it. Could it be an insurance job? Once again. Because yeah, these were just going to be decommissioned or whatever anyway. And then, hey ho, they got a bunch of new ambulances. Just like that. Oh, I've got it. Oh, yeah, of course. You know the guy who called into LBC who, you know, felt so threatened that he's going to have to move abroad. He's going to move to Israel, according to him. Yeah. so stupid up not to have realised in the first place. He must identify as an ambulance. That's it. That's why he feels threatened now. It all makes sense. And maybe those people who were harassing the press in that other video identify as ambulances as well. Goodness, how naive of me not to pick up on that. Yeah, did someone say free ambulance without raising your insurance premium? Call 0800 3 random people legging it up the street in London. .com / you can make your own up on that one. And I do want to set the record straight on one thing as well. Like I said, this concept of Jewish ambulances, a lot of people have taken that to mean that they're exclusively for Jewish people, which is not true. Like I said, they're basically the equivalent of the St. John's ambulance, Red Cross, Red Crescent. So it's not they'll only come out to you if you're Jewish. They serve everybody in the community, and it's my understanding that they're funded by local community projects. But a couple of other things have been pointed out, like security details, if you want to put it that way, security teams and vehicles which look suspiciously close to police vehicles, just without the flashing lights on the top or whatever. You might have to take a pretty close look in certain circumstances to tell the difference. But again, yeah, there's no private police force. These are private security teams. It's just that there's a lot of the vehicles are very derivative, shall we say. It's a double faux pas as well, yeah, the square peg. Finds out not only was I naive, but I assumed to know the religion of an ambulance. My goodness, God, never live it down. What a committee gonna say? Oh no. I'll never get into the secret Leninist club again. Another important point, yeah, famously poor response rate in London. So it's used by people in the local area. Where are we up to? Oh yes. Now, we can certainly remember, even if Nigel Farage doesn't think that we do, or can, remember, just months ago, it was all over the news, if you'll recall, that people who he went to school with reported to the press what he used to be like, and one individual in particular, a Jewish gentleman, was recalling tales of his daily bullying and abuse based on his religion. Yes, little Nigel Farage was an out-and-out and remains positively anti-Semitic. But he has released a video in response to the incidents in the early hours of this morning with the ambulances, and we're going to take a look at it. Just wanted to point out the double standards there. Oh, of course he came back and denied these, but then we actually first found out from someone who was quoted anonymously, but then they revealed who they were, to sort of say and re-emphasise, no, yes, it was me, and you bullied me every day for years, and basically you're a racist piece of shit. And let's not forget, he was part of the Hitler Youth as well. And hasn't changed. So that just adds on to the absolute rank hypocrisy of this. In fact, it's so hypocritical that to make it possible to watch this, I've taken the liberty of crudely superimposing the face of Alan Partridge onto that of Nigel Farage while he goes on his little rant at the behest of, actually it was Manny Quinn's idea. Don't know if any of you follow Manny Quinn. Sort of, well, it's a mannequin, essentially. Team of mannequins with the Liberation Army. It's kind of like Charlie's Angels, but with a lot more foul language, lots more foul language, if you can imagine such a thing. So yeah, this is it.
Over a decade ago, I warned that I feared a fifth column was building up inside this country of people who literally hated us and everything we stand for. I was roundly condemned for those comments, but overnight in North
London, it works though, doesn't it?
4 private ambulances were firebombed. Yes, they were owned by the Jewish community. They were there as a backup to the ambulance service. They weren't just for Jewish people, actually. Anybody could ring them up if they were struggling to get an ambulance. And 4 of them have been firebombed and destroyed. The group that has claimed credit for it, Ashab al-Yamin, is...
Who? Never heard of them. Oh, is that because they've only existed for a few weeks and they're definitely not some sort of false flag splinter cell, if you want to put it that way, that are possibly working for Mossad or whomever? No, and what, they haven't actually said that themselves, but apparently Nigel's got a direct line to these people.
A terrorist organisation that has already committed horrible crimes in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and in Greece as well. They are directly linked to the IRGC, the Iranian terror group.
Oh,
the group...
God, this is... We should all be terrified. I hope you're shitting yourselves, figuratively, people, over this. Really? God, good job we got people like Farage to put us straight on these matters. He certainly knows what he... Hang on a minute. Doesn't... Wait, he's anti-Semitic.
That even the European Union has now prescribed as a terrorist organisation.
Even the European Union. Yeah, and what... Who've historically never identified anyone as a terrorist ever. Yeah.
Urging the Prime Minister to do something about this. Yet what did he do? He said, our thoughts are with the Jewish community. Well, I'm sorry, Prime Minister, your thoughts aren't enough. What I want to hear, what the whole country wants to hear, given we now have a terror cell embedded in North London, what I want to hear is you are prescribing as a terrorist organisation the IRGC, and that we will hunt down those who committed this act overnight and who could be capable of doing much worse. It is time. The Prime Minister gave a lead. Just complaining that anti-Semitism has no place in Britain isn't good enough. He needs to do something about it.
Wow. Yeah. If you buy that as well, got a bridge to sell you. Where's the... Oh, give me 2 seconds. Sure I've got... Just going to dig up one of the old memes. Must be, yeah. Sorry, just trying to remember what I might have called it. Oh, we've still got it. Yeah, we've still got it. It's a Cold War Steve one. Do you remember this one, people? I can't remember how long ago we used it in the opening part of a stream, but come on, you know you want to work. Right, yeah. Got it. I thought I might. There we go. Bit of bufferage. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, there he is. There's old... There's little Nigel there. Yes, Cold War Steve. Masterpiece from Cold War Steve. Sorry about the buffering there. Yeah, it's a bit freaky, isn't it? Yeah, apologies. For the buffering there. Right, I'm beyond done talking about ambulances, so we're going to move on to something else.
On with it. Yes, get on with it.
With it, and I'll leave the poll open until the end of the stream, but at the moment 42% of you think it was a false flag, 25% think random arson, 17% think either a genuine anti-Semitic attack or other. Come back to that at the end of proceedings, but we'll be going back to Keith briefly here now, because on the when we get into what's happening in Iran, Mr. Former Director, that is, former Director of Public Prosecutions himself, has been in front of committee, and essentially when it was up to him to name a basic legal precedent or basis for our actions in assisting America attack Iran, he couldn't name a single one. He's a lawyer who knows his stuff. Human rights, that's his specialty. Human rights and warfare. Oh yes, he's your man. Unless he's in front of a committee, in which case he forgets everything and tries to ramble on about something else. So let's see what's happening.
The things to do at the beginning.
And I just wanted to pick up on a point in response to Mr. Slaughter. You were talking about the legal basis for action in Iran, and you were very clear in the original position. On Friday, though, you gave permission for the US to use the UK bases to target Iranian forces that are, in effect, keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed. Can you just be clear which states under international law are being defended through that action? Is it as clear a legal position as you were outlining?
Well, he said that this is to protect countries. Which countries? Just name any country out of the many that must be under Starmer and Trump's protection with these incredibly brave and patriotic actions that they're carrying out. Just any of them. Just any country, Keith. Off you go.
It's predominantly our allies in the region. And
which allies?
The legal basis is the same.
Which particular states?
Well,
name some.
All of those in
name
the
some.
region that we are.
Them?
Just,
multiple? Good. Okay, so what, in Europe?
Allowing US bases to be used to defend, of our bases to be used, but also we've got.
So not just Europe, the Middle East as well. So you could name some countries from the Middle East, not just European allies that are being protected. Any of them. What do you want to do? Go from all across Europe? All right then. Portugal, Spain, and Basque separatist region, of course. France, Germany, no? Poland, Italy, Hungary, Austria, none of these, no? Netherlands? Come on, throw me a bone, Keith. What about the Middle East? Qatar? Saudi Arabia? Where? Just name a country. Name any country. She just wants you to name one.
Our own capability and assets in the sky there. But the legal... I mean, if you step back from this, we had already said, for the purposes of the defence, collective self-defence of our allies, and in fact our people who are in the region, we will allow...
Which region?
We're very clear about that.
Just to explain the legal bit.
No, she's asked you which countries. Which countries? Okay. I'm not going to go through the whole committee appearance. Don't worry. Apparently, you got quite a slating as well. I'll have to watch that one back tomorrow. But just a short one here, and he really is squirming. Look at him.
We will allow the...
He's almost. It's like he's in a race with Luke Akehurst over complexions. Who can have the reddest complexion?
The US to strike Iran's capability to send missiles, essentially to land, to infrastructure.
Whose country's infrastructure? Which bases?
What Friday did was to extend that to vessels in the region, and because the illogicality of strikes that hit hotels, and then you've got vessels in the water nearby that...
What is he talking about? And someone might trip over and hurt themselves and get a splinter. Something like that. I mean, the consequences could be disastrous. He was asked to name a country that will be defended by these actions. And under a legal basis as well. Which countries are protected. Former Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Top Ace Lawyer, Keir Rodney Starmer.
To be protected under the same legal framework, exactly the same legal framework. So actually that was an extension of the original decision as the targets of Iran have changed. So the set of targets that we've authorised the basis to be used for has changed accordingly, but the legal basis is precisely the same as the original legal basis, and the logic actually is precisely the same as well.
God. Just awful. Just awful.
Wimp! Pervert! Nubbin!
Saw Keith not putting up the best appearance in that committee today.
Oh no.
frankly terrifying, really. Beg your pardon? Oh no, it was The Young Ones, not that other TV show, Libby. But how's Keith doing? Speaking of The Young Ones, this is quality segueing here, people. Let's see how Keith's polling amongst the young ones. This is the 18 to 24 bracket at the moment. So the figures on the left, the current is the current approval rating compared to where I'm not sure if this was can't be this time last year, because Polanski wouldn't have been on 25%. If it's a month, then that's pretty dramatic as well. But regardless, you can look at the pattern. You can see the pattern here. It might surprise you, actually. Yeah, Corbyn. Top of the pile, gaining 8 points on 42. That's pretty impressive. Zach Polanski doing well, also, of course, 33%, up 8. I can do the charts here. Third place, Ed Davey. You can sense a sort of pattern here. It's almost very linear through the political spectrum. Certainly getting increasingly right wing as you get towards the bottom. Yeah, then Starmer, then Badenoch, then Farage, then only 5% for Rupert Lowe. But the highest faller is actually Farage, down 65. Yeah, with 74 against, 9% for. Of course, that's what the differences are. Silly me. So yeah. What else to take from that? Well, it's looking good. It's looking good for the left. That's for sure. Wouldn't count Davey in that, of course. Liberals here in the UK describing themselves as centrist, I guess, these days, but no, when it comes to the crunch, always on the right, but still a good positive to negative ratio for Corbyn and Polanski there. That's encouraging as well for followers or members, supporters of your party, with Corbyn now being elected parliamentary leader. Maybe this engagement with the youth can give them some traction in the national polls, which I hope we'll see a few more of, probably after the local elections. Aren't too far away now. What do you make of that, people? Just a reminder, that's the 18 to 24 brackets. Approval for on the left, approval figure on the right is for against. Yeah, Doc, I was surprised that I thought Polanski would have topped that. Of course, he's been topping a lot of the age demographic polls recently, I guess. Is why I would have thought that. He still remains most popular under 50 as well as under 65s, I think it is. I'm not too sure of all the individual ones. But I would also class the, Lib Dems certainly to the left of the current Labour Party. Yeah, sorry about the brain fart at the start of the segment. It's like, what's the other figure for? Obviously, it makes sense. Just quickly wanted to show that after Starmer, because obviously he continues to tank. Up next, just sticking with Iran. Ellie Chones did a good job. Ellie Chones of the Greens did a good job of putting it to the Secretary State of Defence earlier today, just about, our continued denial that we're involved in all of this when we clearly are, while Starmer appears on TV and talks about de-escalation, etc. Bombers are taking off from these shores, and John Healey's response is, well, take a look for yourselves.
The expansion of US use of UK bases announced over the weekend represents an escalation of UK involvement in this war at a time when we all agree that de-escalation is urgently needed. We are being dragged in to an illegal, reckless war on the part of Trump, with huge ramifications for the region and for households in this country. Now, last week, the Secretary of State said he'd only get involved if there was a viable collective plan. Where is that plan? This afternoon, the Prime Minister says to the Liaison Committee, we must beware of the false hope that there might be a quick and early end to this conflict. Given all this, when will we have a Commons vote on the escalating UK involvement in this illegal and reckless war? State.
I reject almost everything the Honourable Lady has said. So we will.
Isn't that contemptible? Isn't that contemptible? There was nothing inaccurate about what Ellie Jones said whatsoever.
Not get drawn into a wider war. The decisions we're taking.
We're already in this. We're already in this. How many times do we have to scream it?
Are de-escalatory and defensive, not escalatory, and we will work in whatever way we can to bring an early end to this conflict.
Pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. The boardroom talk certainly won't cover it either. Pathetic from John Healey. You could see from the look on his face as well at the end there, he just didn't like being called out, because what we're doing is the exact opposite of de-escalation. Yeah, quick final point on Iran. Donald Trump apparently says that the talks have been going really well. You know, the talks that have been happening between America and Iran over all this and trying to come to some sort of agreement. If you haven't heard about the talks, it's because they've not been happening. Yeah. Trump made quite a long statement. I'm not going to play it, but saying how well they're going and what developments he thinks has been made. But essentially, of course, he's overwhelmingly confident that this will come to a swift conclusion. But he's, decided to withdraw this 48-hour ultimatum now that he made, saying if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz within 2 days, which would be by now, then he would attack the power infrastructure of the country, which of course would be a war crime. But now he's decided that he'll give them a week to think about it instead. In these talks that didn't happen, because yes, Iran have officially said that they didn't happen. They issued some demands when they first closed the strait, and they of course remain in place. Again, just to remind you, it will be Iran who decide when the Strait of Hormuz is open, really. So, Keir Starmer, John Healey or Donald Trump can't give any guarantees about the longevity or lack of longevity where this matter's concerned. But here's a clip just to remind you, those talks never happened, and these are the demands. This is what Iran put on the table when they closed the strait. This is what the asking price is.
The Iranian demands have not changed. The Iranian demands right away from the start of this were we want the closure of all US bases in the region before we reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We want $2 million for every US and allied ship which is going to cross the Strait of Hormuz, or else we're...
Ironically, tariffs, and of course the thing with the bases, any that aren't completely and utterly decimated by Iran, they want them gone, because of course they surround the country in what some might consider a bit of a threatening manner. Yeah, and of course £2 million per vessel. That's a bit of a chunk of change as well, isn't it? Pretty comedically ironic as well that Trump has, unbewittingly found a way to impose tariffs on himself.
Not going to let them through. And then the other one is we want $100 billion worth of reparations to be paid by Israel and by the United
States. How much?
Hormuz, or else we're not going to let them through. And then the other one is we want $100 billion worth of reparations to be paid by Israel and by the United States for all the damage they've inflicted on Iran.
That's quite an exorbitant amount of money, isn't it?
$100 billion worth of...
Quite exorbitant indeed.
$100 billion.
Gentlemen, silence.
Reparations to be paid by Israel and by the United States for all the damage they've inflicted on Iran. Well, that has certainly not, as far as we can see from what Donald Trump has been saying, been part of the discussions that have been taking place with these mysterious Iranian leaders.
Well, yeah, I would count that as quite fair, considering what's happened, what the United States of America and Israel have done. I thought there was also there were reports of mentions of Israeli ambassadors being removed as well, but that didn't come up there. But $2 million per vessel, the removal of all the bases, and princely sum of
$100 billion.
Gentlemen,
for reparations. But of course, if Trump met those demands, that would be a complete capitulation. We can't feel too optimistic about him doing that, even if it is the obvious thing that he should do. Of course, he's all about pride, etc. He doesn't have any sense of reality, especially where defeat is concerned. He thinks he's a born and natural winner, as opposed to a fraud who's been bankrupt several times, and that's just in a financial sense. This also morally bankrupt and corrupt piece of shit, known felon, sexual abuser, alleged child molester. Yeah. He thinks he's always on a roll. And even when he's painted himself into a corner like he has done now with this, didn't even have the foresight that Iran might choose to close the Strait of Hormuz. But here we are. This won't be over anytime soon, unfortunately. It's, at the moment, just a matter of how intense this will get, of how widespread it might get. And I think on a macro scale as well, Israel and America's intentions are actually misaligned, because Netanyahu sees this as a trigger to a long-term campaign. We know that he's all about mass removals of population in his endeavour for this greater Israel, and he thinks he's got the opportunity with this. He's certainly tried it a heap of times before. He's been promising us that that is the world, that Iran would have the capability to launch nuclear weapons, quote, within a couple of years. And he's been saying that for decades now. For example, any opportunity, he's going to jump all over it, and he thinks this is it. He thinks this is the time to really push and go for it, and he expects America to go along with it, and now America expects everybody else to go along with it as well. Certainly any NATO signatory countries as well. But it's not happening, and at the moment it's the Iranians that have the upper hand. But one thing's for sure, I'm definitely not proud of my country's actions in all of this either. What a time to be alive. And what a time to say a massive thank you to all the members on the channel once more. Yeah, thanks to those of you who've super chatted, super stickered recently, bought us coffees, all of the usual mediums. Don't think I've mentioned hype points yet on tonight's stream, so I'll do that for the first and last time now. Yeah, if you're watching on a mobile device, phone or tablet, then please do consider gifting us some of your hype points. It doesn't cost you anything. You get a fresh batch every week, and you can decide which channels you want to, or videos that you'd like to support on the algorithm. So please do open some recent content and chuck us some of your hype points. You know you want to, people. Music. whilst we're thanking all of the members, I'm hunting for a raid to see where we can get into as we come towards the end of proceedings here. But don't go nowhere, folks. There's still more quality streaming for anybody who wants to maybe have a bit of a marathon, a bit of a live stream binge. Maybe you're just a bit of a night owl. I want to show solidarity to some of our other friends of the channel, fellow socialists. Let's see who's around. That also means you just have a few more moments to vote in the poll if you've not done so already. Well, goodness, there isn't, it's a little bare. The only thing that's live at the moment is Al Jazeera, who we mentioned earlier. Whilst they were being harassed in London. Well, I guess we'll raid in there. You never know, they might raid into us sometime if they, well, they never, it's 24 hours, isn't it? So do they ever stop? Well, if they do, and they chose to raid into us, then yeah. There we go, big time. Big time, baby. Okay. That's all set up now. I won't be seeing you over on Jazeera, but all that remains is for me to say thanks for being here this evening on the Brews at 10 with my left eye. I've been your host, Lefty. Free Palestine, Yemen, Sudan, and I've already said. Let's do that again. Free Palestine, Sudan, Yemen, and Lebanon. Power to the people. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't watch the news. Be the news. Alright, my left eye. I'll be seeing you soon. Good night.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn